Hello, beautiful world, and thank you so much for stopping by. I have to apologize to you guys. I haven't put up a video in a little bit. However, I was feeling a little bit under the weather. I was sick for about a week or so, and during this time, I really did think that I was going to get some reading done. And I tried, however, nothing was sticking, couldn't really concentrate, so that went out the window. And then, life happens, work happens, all that sort of stuff. So, anyways, it has taken me a while to read this book. However, I am really, really excited to finally have finished it and to be speaking to you about it. The book that I'm talking to you guys about is this here. It is N0S4A2 or Nosferatu by Joe Hill. Guys, this is an absolutely fantastic book. Someone had said to me, read it a very long time ago, and of course, I didn't. And then years went by, and it's been recommended to me a number of times, but I just didn't feel like it. And this year, finally, I decided, okay, let's give it a shot. It is a fabulous book, you guys. It is one of those things where I think it is probably my number one in the scary category. You want to read something about horror and creepy and spooky and makes your mind like wander into all sorts of things. This would be the book for it. This book by Mr. Joe Hill has made me excited. There's no other way of saying it. I haven't read a book like this in such a long time. I cannot remember. Actually, I don't even know if I've ever read a book and then while I was reading it, I had to put it down. I put this book down so many times because there are so many creepy things that happen in here. And it's so exciting. I would read like a paragraph and I'm like, oh my god, I don't know if I want to know what's gonna happen next because I'm so freaked out by what's happening. So I would put it down, and then of course you want to find out. So you pick it up again, you read a line or two, and then you put it down again. I was like, oh my god, oh my god. It was just that good. I absolutely loved it. So letting you know that there are going to be spoilers. I have no way of talking about this without spoilers. And guys, this book is for adults. I wouldn't suggest young people read this. There are things in here that are specifically just meant for adults, okay? So the book is also quite a number of pages, 600 and something, almost 700 pages. It's going to take me a while clearly to find it. 689 pages. It's a book. But oh guys, it's so good. Okay, so anyways, let me tell you about it. We follow a girl named Vic. She is very young when we start off this story, and basically she has this power, I guess you can say. So basically, she gets on her bike, which her parents got her for her birthday, and she finds out that she can see a bridge that no longer exists, and she can actually cross this bridge. The magical power about this bridge is that she goes to places where things are have been lost and she finds them. So for example, her mother loses a bracelet, doesn't have a clue where this is, and Vic goes through this bridge looking for this bracelet, and it drops her off at a place there. They stopped by to have a milkshake on the way home from a trip that they took, and the guy behind the counter hands her this bracelet. There's, I believe, in here also her best friend who loses her like stuffed animal, I believe. And again, she gets on her bike, she goes through this bridge, and lo and behold, she finds this lost stuffed animal. So things like that. As she gets older, things get much more serious, and she ends up being able to find the bad guy. So our bad guy is Mr. Charles Talent Manx. And what he does is he drives around in his Nosferatu car, and he basically picks up kids. So this car, it has some kind of like a power to it. First of all, Charles Manx is a very, very, very old man. I still don't know how old he is. He's over 100 years old, like way over 100 years old. No one's sure how old he is. And what he does is he goes by and he picks up kids, He puts them at the back of his car, which is really freaky because the kids actually can't get out of it unless he lets them out. Um, and during this time, he doesn't, do any kind of freaky stuff or anything like that. But the whole time that the kids are sitting in this car, it's like he becomes younger, and they are sort of like sucked out of their lives. They become like these dead things, dead walking children, which is really spooky. And he sort of like sucks their life out of them, and then he becomes younger and younger and younger. So at one point in time, we have Vic, who just so happens to find out where Mr. Manx lives, and she goes over to this creepy cottage place in the woods. And this is like one of the freakiest things that I've read in my life. She goes there, she gets off her bike, and she goes towards the garage. When she opens the door to the garage, she looks in, and there's a kid in the car. And I was like, okay, like I'm done. Get the heck out of there. Call the cops. Whatever you need to do. Like, what are you doing? So of course she goes in there, and then she ends up going in towards the front of the door, climbing into the car. A bunch of stuff happens with this kid. She ends up jumping out of the car, totally freaked out. Freaked the heck out of me. I really like this is the part where I kept putting the book down. And then instead of running out the garage door, because she hears Manx coming, she runs into his house, and then things get even more spookier and more creepier. It like the intensity just kept building and building and building so much. It was done so well. Like Joe Hill does it so well, you guys. Just unbelievable the kind of things that he does. And it's not like he spells it out for you. It's not like he actually tells you, but your mind, like you're so into the story that your mind is just going all over the place, like a million miles a minute. You're thinking all sorts of things. And that's the beautiful part about his writing. Absolutely loved this book. So I want to go back to the beginning just to give you guys an idea. There is a part in here where we start off before we even meet Vic. And we start off with a nurse. Now, this nurse, she is working like a they call it a long-term care ward, and she is there. It's about 8 o'clock at night. She is pretty much by herself. I mean, the place is abandoned, and the ward that she's working in holds a whole bunch of really bad people. Now, the people that are in this ward or this room, whatever you want to call it, that she goes into, um, are really bad. There's one guy that he tied up his girlfriend and his girlfriend's kids and burned the house with her in it. There's another guy who had uh, a drill bit or something, or a screwdriver, I think it is, that was shoved through his head. So he's in a coma, and then you have our friend Manx here, who's been in a coma forever, and she goes into this place because it's sort of like if she does it every single day, she doesn't pay attention to any of it, and it's just so freaky because you're thinking right off the bat, oh my god, like who's gonna jump at her? What's gonna happen? She's like oblivious. She's thinking about these Christmas gifts that she's got to buy for her son. She's just not paying any attention, and then she goes in front of Manx, and because she's so caught up in what she's thinking, it takes her by surprise that his eyes are open. She's been working there, I think, for like 3 years or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she's been there for 3 years, and it says here that she's been on staff for 3 years, and he had been comatose all that time. Um, she's never seen him with his eyes open, so like it just freaky. It's scary. It like your skin crawls with this stuff. I mean, this guy's a genius when he does this. It's just so good. So anyhow, he has put an advertisement. Manx has put an advertisement in the paper, where he's looking for someone to help him out, and what he's looking to do is he's hiring someone for help in something or some place called Christmasland. Christmasland is this freaky place where after he takes these kids in his car, he drives them off there after like the life has been sucked out of them. This is where these kids stay. And he tells them that it's Christmas every single day. They get to open up presents every single day. However, the presents that they open up are it's gross, in a good way, but it's really disturbing. These kids have like hatchets in their hands. They've got knives. They've there's just it's a freaky place that I don't ever want to be in. I don't ever want to be invited to Christmasland ever. Okay, so a couple of things I wanted to also talk about. What else? Sorry, guys, there's a lot. Okay, so he puts an advertisement in the paper saying that he wants help for this place, and one guy named Bing Partridge, who's really a freaky man, applies for this job. And this guy has had an interesting life. As a kid, his favorite Christmas that he can remember is when his father, well, I'll just read it to you. Bing remembered the last present best, a large box that contained a big rubber gas mask and a dented helmet, rust showing where the paint was chipped away. This is what his father gave him for Christmas, a gas mask. Anywho, so we go from there, and Bing, we find out that Bing killed his parents. No surprise there. And he writes this lovely letter to Charles Manx. Lovely letter, explaining all about himself. It's a little freaky, and lo and behold, Charles Manx and him get together and start working together. There's a part in here that talks about the kids in Christmasland and what it is that they could do. And I want to read you a part in here that also freaks the heck out of me. It says, he could smell the peppermint and cocoa. Delicious. And he could see the candles burning in the 10-story Christmas tree. He didn't say they were lit up. He said they were burning, you guys. Okay? And he could hear the carts bashing and crashing on the sprawling old wooden sleigh coaster. He could hear the music too, and how the children screamed. If you didn't know any better, you would think they were being butchered alive. Like, are you kidding me? So that gives you an idea of what's in here. Like, just unreal. Anyways, it just keeps going on and on and on. Just creepy after creepy things. So eventually what happens is Vic ends up escaping from Manx, and she ends up like running out on the road, and someone picks her up. And let me just say this. You follow this young girl, you go to her in a garage, she goes into a car, she tries to help this freaky ass kid, and then instead of running out of the car and running out and the heck away from this place, she runs into this house. Charles Manx follows her. She gets stuck in a kitchen. If she looks left, Charles Manx is coming at her. If she looks right through the door outside, this kid is like coming at her and banging his head against the window of the kitchen. She's freaked out. She locks herself up in a little like cubby hole place where there's like a laundry room area. She bolts the door so they can't get in. The house gets set on fire. She ends up getting away from there, which was horrifying because her climbing up this laundry chute thing, I mean, my God, it was like gut wrenching. Like I was thinking I was her, and then it's so the pain that she was feeling, and when her leg gave out and she went tumbling back down again, like you just, oh my God. So you go through all this. Anyway, she climbs out. She runs out of this friggin' house. She takes off to the road. She finds our little Lou, our big Lou, jumps on his bike. He takes her to the gas station, and you're like, oh my God, okay, everything's fine. And then, lo and behold, you look out the window, and here comes Charles Manx to the darn gas station. And then again, you feel that, like, that intense things. I mean, it just keeps going and going and going and going. It's brilliant, brilliant, brilliant what this guy does. Okay, so eventually, after Vic escapes, her and Lou, like I said, she jumps on his bike and he sort of like rescues her. Um, they end up getting together. They end up having a child together. Charles Manx comes after this child. He does take him, puts him in his car, and then they go away. And Mama Bear Vic goes after him. I don't know, guys. It's just good reading. Like I can go on and on and on. I know this is a really long video already, so I won't go into it much more, even though I have so much more written down. Anyways, Mama Bear eventually, because she's all grown up, she ends up getting a motorcycle. The motorcycle pretty much does the same thing as her child, like bike. She finds the bridge by riding this motorcycle, and also because she has the ability to find things that have been lost, she actually can find where Manx is and where her son is. So that's that, and she goes after them. And what else do I have to tell you? I'm trying to like wrap it up here. Okay. Here's a part that, ladies, if you've had bad experiences with certain things, there are triggers in this book. So I'm warning you ahead of time. You might not want to read this. There isn't anything too crazy that happens in here. I've read it. I was fine with it. However, if you are sensitive to certain things, certain sexual things, I would suggest that you not read this chapter. There isn't anything in here that you absolutely have to know. So just to give you an idea, um, basically it says here that the worst of it was losing the love, losing the mommies. Manx took the kids and Bing took mom. So in order to steal the kids, they usually find them with their mothers, and well, one gets the kids and the other one gets the moms, and you can imagine. Again, there isn't anything horrible in here. There isn't anything like extremely over the top, but if you are sensitive to it, just skip it. You don't need to read it. At one point in time, Vic does get caught, and she does go into the basement downstairs. Um, I mean, you again, because he's so good at playing with your mind, you're gonna start thinking all sorts of craziness. Just don't worry. It's not, nothing happens really with her. He doesn't, you know, get his hands on her or anything like that. There is a little bit of a part in it, but I'm sure we can handle it. Anyways, just fair warning. And then I'm gonna skip a whole bunch because this is all about her finding her son, and she calls the cops, and they do investigations, and a whole bunch of things happens. She also has a run-in with Manx before he takes the boy, and he beats the crap out of her. Like, I don't know how the lady got up and walked. I really have no idea. I thought he would like smash her to pieces. Anyways, that's all that, and it's all about them trying to figure out where this boy is. The cops are interviewing and investigating her, and just doing their job basically. Okay. Um, also throughout this, really quickly, she also meets a lady who has a power like hers. So her power is going through this bridge and finding lost things. Manx has the power of I guess the car. When the kids go inside the car, they suck, like they he sucks the life out of them. When Vic's son goes in the car, Manx first looks like he's like, I don't know, 100 years old, and then at the end, when Manx gets out of the car because he spends so much time with the kid, he gets out of the car and he looks like he's 30 years old. Just to give you an idea, that's his power. And then there's Maggie. Maggie has what's it called? Scrabble tiles. And she throws these tiles out on the floor and they spell things for her so they can answer questions for her. And there's a part in this book where Vic goes to Maggie and she asks her, after so long that her son has spent with Manx, is there any way that her son will be normal when she gets him, and when she like returns him out of the car, out of Christmas land to real life. So we answered the questions answered. And then there is also a part in here where she she just, this lady just gives her information that she needs. The part that's freaky in here is that while they're talking, they end up falling asleep because by this time Vic has been beaten and dragged places and just like torn down, and her knee is shot out of her. She can't even walk, and she's been running from Manx or to Manx. Like she's just torn all over the place. So Maggie gives her like a pill or like a drug to make her sleep. They end up falling asleep together, and then Maggie ends up waking up before Vic. And in this room that they're in, there's sort of like this massive, huge fish tank that they have, or Maggie has. And through this fish tank, she can see into another room. And when she wakes up, towards the end of the book, it says that a boy walked through the children's library, which she can see directly into, carrying a sparkler. And oh my god, it was, if you've been reading this book, you'll follow it and you'll get it right away who the kid is who's carrying the sparkler. And again, it just sends chill down your spine. It's just so good. He writes it so well. And then the very last thing I want to say, this is more to Mr. Joe Hill than to any of us. I am not a professional, English teacher. I don't know anything about writing. I don't know. I just read for fun, basically. But there is a paragraph or lines in here that this man wrote that were beautiful, you guys. Just to finish it off, it's not, spoiling the end of the complete end of the story, but oh my god, is it good. Okay, so in the end, Vic is again on her bridge and the bridge is collapsing, okay? And it says it collapsed in towards the middle, either ends rising, as if the bridge were trying to close itself like a book. It's just beautiful, guys. A novel that had reached its ending, a story that readers and authors alike were about to set aside. Oh, this, guys, is beautiful writing. He does it so well. Again, please pick it up. Please read it if you want to be creeped out, if you want to be spooked out. It's a really good book. Also, one other thing I would suggest to you guys, you don't have to if you don't want to, but the ending of the book comes up, and then there's a note at the back. Read it. It has something to do with the story. The story's not quite done yet. Read it. Read all of it. And then what else do I have to tell you? Yeah, I think that's it. Just read it. It's like a page and a half. It's worth it. Okay, go buy the book. Read it. Tell me what you think. It's fabulous. Let me know how many times you put the darn thing down, because it was just so intense. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching. I apologize. This I didn't mean to have it this long, but it's just so good. Have a great day, you guys. Happy reading. I'll see you next time.